You were born this bright, shiny you, a diamond. You were born a diamond. Okay. Can everyone agree on that? You were born a diamond, bright, shiny being, perfect, bright-eyed, completely in awe of wow, life, eyes wide open. And then you had an adverse child experience in your family dynamic. We've all had them. Congratulations to us. For me, it may have been, well, there were many prior to this, but my mom going homeless, perfect example. So then we learn to, so this is a diamond with a piece broken off in case you're like, what is that? So we learn to disown a facet of ourselves, a necessary facet. I disowned the little princess who can receive, and you might go, oh, who wants to be a princess? That's not healthy. Actually, a princess is really good at receiving, really good, a necessary part of ourselves. Or let's say a healthy child who knows how to receive and be taken care of. Well, I went into, no, it's not safe for me to ... So for me, it's not safe for me to have a lot when others have a little, right? That was my statement. And this may take some deeper exploration, but this is a nice starting point. So then what do? We create a mask, we create a persona. So we carry part of ourselves with us, but we leave behind this facet of ourselves. It's like, nope, you have no place in my life. You're shameful. I don't want to be seen as some bratty little princess who's a bad girl because the world is suffering and I need to like save and rescue people. No, so I'm going to create this persona. And guess what persona for me, for example, is I'm going to help everybody. I'm going to be a really good girl. And I'm going to be a perfectionist and a people pleaser. So these are some of the masks we wear. If you're like me, wow, you hit the jackpot and you wore like 40 masks, like people pleaser, perfectionist, good girl. I'm going to get everything right. I'm a driven entrepreneur. I'm a yogi. I'm a spiritual person. All of these are masks. They can feel so real. So then what happens? If we are very, very lucky, which I think all of us are, we hit up against an adult adverse experience. We have a really big challenge. It might be a divorce or loss of everything. Recently, I have seen a lot of people's houses burned down in LA, a lot of people I know and love. That's called an adverse adult experience. It's traumatic. And from here, there are two options. We either keep avoiding the feelings that are real. The reason I call it like a jackpot is because it's just trying to bring up the stuff from the past so that we can actually integrate and restore wholeness. This is a deeper conversation, but I'm just touching on it briefly here. And so we have two options when we go through something hard in our adult lives. We can either keep avoiding through the busy bee block, the bleeding heart block, the safe equals small overthinking syndrome, like we've already talked about, or we can move into what I call the embrace, the radical embrace. Let's take a deep, deep breath in. And imagine what happens when we get really good at taking challenging moments as opportunities to become very tender with ourselves, very nurturing to ourselves. Imagine how our lives change if we really dismantle the overthinking and the overdoing and the over responsibility for others, and we actually sink into this profound level. My teacher, Leonard Jacobson, calls it an opportunity for mastery. I call it an opportunity to become tender with ourselves. If you can see it that way, your life will change from this workshop. If you really, because what happens is the ego wants to go into overthinking, overdoing, over responsibility. I have to figure it out. Let me take action. And then we just keep abandoning the part of self that is desperate for our love. Okay. So once we choose the embrace, it leads us straight home to ourselves, that bright, shiny you that you've always been. And guess what? That bright, shiny you is still right there in the middle of yourself, unbroken, whole. It's just simply arriving home.